Hi, sisters and brothers. One of the greatest things you and me can do is help our students gain more faith and trust in Jesus Christ. Sometimes we use the word confidence, but really, how is that done? Well, it's done by coming to know who they are. The more we know Him, the more we will trust Jesus. And that's true in any relationship, right? The more I know someone and know their good characteristics and know about their integrity or know about their willingness to help, the more I come to count on them, the more trust or the more faith I have in that person. The same is true with the Savior. And as teachers, I don't know that we can do anything more important than that. And the scriptures really do provide us with an opportunity to see into the character of the Savior. And this week in seminary, you're going to be able to have the opportunity to do that within the lessons and also as you review General Conference. Let me show you. Here in Doctrine and Covenants 111, it asks you to read the following verse groupings, and then it asks this: what truths do you learn about God from these verses? The skill of helping our students look for something before we send them into the scriptures is so helpful. It helps them to really zero in and focus. So just one adjustment. Before you send them into the verses, ask them to look for what they learn about God. After you've done that, later on in the lesson, there's some really good follow-up questions. Let me show you those too. There's been some additional discussion, some really good quotes, helping the students to learn more about Father in Heaven and Jesus Christ. And then these follow-up questions toward the end of the lesson says, what did you find that can strengthen your confidence, otherwise known as faith, that God can order all things for your good? And how does having an eternal perspective help you trust that God can order all things for your good? And then this last one, when or how has God arranged things for good in your life or the life of someone you know? Once again, we're not just learning about His church or His doctrine, but we're helping our students learn about who Jesus Christ really is. The more we know about Him, the more we are able to trust Him. Help your students to focus on not only the doctrine and not only the organization of the church and not only General Conference, but actually what they're learning about Jesus, about Him as the man, so that they can increase their absolute trust in Him. So this week in Assess Your Learning lesson, which, by the way, counts for the learning assessment if they participate in one of these during the semester, is an opportunity for you to help your students review General Conference, which just happened. Let me show you how you might be able to do that. This is lesson 127, asking you to assess your progress. Explain how the Savior's priesthood and priesthood keys bless His church. To be sure, those topics will be brought up in conference, and as you're reviewing the scriptures that are in this lesson, you can also tie in the connections that they made during conference. This section is feel greater confidence that the apostles are special witnesses of Jesus Christ. What have you done recently that has impacted your testimony that the prophets and apostles really are special witnesses of Christ? Given that General Conference has just happened, you can really alter this question in a very simple way and say, what happened during General Conference that impacted your testimony that the prophets and apostles really are special witnesses of Jesus Christ? And then this last section, prepare to worship the Lord in the temple. We know that during General Conference, the Savior's leaders will for sure mention the temple. And if you come down here and ask these questions, what recent efforts have you made to be better prepared to worship the Lord in the temple? You can just change that to say, what have you learned in General Conference that will help you better worship the Lord in the temple? Now, for ideas for variety. Near the bottom of the resource for ideas for variety is this really great evaluate a plan. You could use a graphic organizer to help students evaluate their plans. Students answer the question in each section of the graphic. You can see in the middle there's a topic there. And if there's something that came up in General Conference that really interested them, encourage them to write the topic in the middle. You could even write the specific talk. And then in the sections it says, what would you like to stop doing? In the other section, what would you like to start doing? And then what's going well? This would be an easy thing you could follow up with. Thanks, brothers and sisters. You and me want more than anything to help our students gain trust and confidence in the Savior. I hope that these little ideas will help you do that. We'll see you next time.